Chris, do you think anyone's going to believe that we're actually standing right next to each other right now?
No, not unless they're receiver ready.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And this week, 2017 wraps up. It's done.
Yeah, that's right. This week,
the
last week.
The last one of the year. Infinity War marketing is upon us, Mike. It's bound to be here eventually. We're going to take a look back at the best and worst movies of the year and maybe what's to come in 2018. And some more.
Yeah, it feels good to be back, man. It's been
like a month.
What been like? It's been like 2 weeks. Yeah, unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, during my wife's 30th birthday celebration, we went ice skating among several things that we did that day, and she just unfortunate circumstances fell on her arm and broke it on her 30th birthday. So the following day we were going to record the podcast, but we had to run to urgent care and get her arm checked out, blah, blah, blah. A lot of stuff going on. So luckily Brian was able to come in and fill in for me. So super appreciate that. And then the week after that, we were off for the holidays. So Chris, I don't know about you, but after being out for like 2 weeks, I'd say I'm looking forward to jumping back into this. I feel like I haven't gotten into a super nerdy conversation in a while.
Well, I think the last time I got into a super nerdy conversation was last Wednesday, Mike, when we had lunch together.
Yeah, that's right.
If that's a segue that you wanted to have. About once a year we get to see each other, I think.
Yes.
And this year, it's mostly on Christmas because you're back in the same general vicinity, the same region. And our tradition, I guess, three times now is to eat at Yats.
Yes, Yats is, as many people I'm sure don't know, is just a little hometown, like, Creole place, which is weird because you'd think hometown means we'd be in, like, Louisiana or something. Just like, no, just some dude in central Indiana that just likes making Creole food, so can't get it anywhere else, that type of food. So, yeah, we meet up there, we get some basically slop on rice, and then we hugged it out, literally.
We did. We spent like 3 hours there. I figured they were going to kick us out at some point. I showed Mike the AR form of Pokemon, and I think that was entertaining watching you play Pokemon.
Yeah, that's right. I felt like the whole holiday break, I was just looking at all my family members that upgraded to the iPhone X. And I would just kind of like saddle up to them, and I'd nod my head and go, hey, I see you went with the iPhone X there. They're just like, yeah, whatever. So it seems like whatever sort of hype with the iPhone X dissipated very quickly because to them it's just like a normal phone. And I asked them all the same question, like, oh, how long did it take you to kind of get used to the gestures and stuff? They're like, oh, didn't take that long. So it seemed like any sort of like hype for the iPhone X dwindled very quickly after you own it. I'm not saying it's a bad phone, but people were just kind of like, meh, it's just this thing in my pocket now.
Yeah, I mean, again, my motto is always never trust first-generation Apple products. It usually takes about 3 iterations before they're like, oh, yeah, we got this. We know what you want now. But I mean, that's cool. I mean, I think we talked about you guys are due for a phone upgrade. So when that happens, you'll have to let me know what that is and how the experience treats you, Mike.
But of course, it was the holidays, so I do need to ask, since this is a very nerdy superhero comic book related show, Chris, were you lucky enough to receive any Yule tidings or gifts that kind of aligns with what we'd like to talk about on the show?
I did. Mostly from work, I received a Captain America shirt and a video game controller shirt that says Choose Your Weapon.
Okay,
cool. Which was very nice. But my wife probably fueled it the most, and she got me a Angry Groot pop vinyl from the first Guardians movie. Oh, cool. And a Marvel, I guess, character icon license plate frame for my car. So definitely leaned into that pretty heavily from that. But that's about it. One of the things about owning a new house is most people just give you money so you can put it into the house.
Nothing wrong with that.
And as people may notice, I bought a new garage door opener because our other remotes had broken. We were down to one remote for 2 cars. So, and some other issues about it dropping on my car once in the middle of me backing up.
That's not good.
I was like, it's time to just get a new one. 25 years is a good lifespan for this old one, so let's upgrade. So that's probably where a lot of it went. And then also that game I told you about, Drop Mix for iOS. So that was my gift to myself. What about you, Mike? You were still doing your holiday stuff. I didn't quite know what you'd gotten yourself there to take back to California with you.
My brother was very good at filling my my nerd fueled frenzy. I was lucky enough to get this really cool t-shirt that it's a Spider-Man t-shirt, but it's kind of done in the style of Batman the Animated Series, so it's really cool. Goes to show you my brother knows me very well. I also got a belated birthday gift from him, which is I think it's like a 12-inch standing figure of Spider-Man. It came in a Marvel Legends box. I'm not really familiar with toy collecting, so I don't know if I did the world's worst thing, just taking it out of the box and throwing the box away, or what the deal is. But it's pretty cool. It's like fully posable. Totally going to use it as like drawing references and just like propping it up on the bookshelf and stuff. So that was really cool. I got a drone from like a gift exchange that comes with like a little like Wi-Fi camera attached to it. I've literally never flown a drone before. So like last night I got it all plugged in and synced up with the remote control and everything, and I'm just like, okay, how do I take off on this thing? I'm just casually like flipping through the book. I'm just in my like apartment. Like the instructions clearly say use a spacious indoor area. I'm just like, whatever, this is good enough. Set it to the ground. It's like, okay, there's a takeoff button. So I hit the takeoff button. It slowly takes off, and I'm just like amazed because it's the first time I've ever flown a drone or had one that close to my face. And then as soon as it like gets 4 feet off the ground, just starts leaning and goes right towards my wife's face. So I have to hit like no land button. Then I'm like trying to like control it around. So those first couple minutes were pretty fun, but I think I need to take it outdoors.
Welcome to drone ownership. It's the most nerve-wracking experience you'll ever have.
Yeah, but it was pretty fun. I think it goes to show you how quickly people can kind of get addicted to a drone life. I don't know if I'm gonna fall that deep into it, but it was pretty cool. I don't know if anything else was super nerdy. I guess to cap it off, this was a gift I was expecting to get because I asked for it. It's the first volume collection of the original Kevin Eastman Ninja Turtle comics, which is really, really cool to kind of see that, like, his art style, I'm sure, has evolved over the years, but just at the very beginning when he was drawing the Turtles, it was just like very rough, kind of like crude drawings, all in black and white. He just had some like kick butt turtles, and at the end of the very first issue, he kills off Shredder, basically off panel with a grenade. And just before that happens, the Turtles handed basically a beat to hell Shredder a sword and said, "Here you go, use the sword to kill yourself honorably." And I was just like, oh, okay, the Turtles definitely used to be a lot more mature. So that's pretty freaking cool, and I'm looking forward to see what else happens in this first volume. But yeah, I think that wraps up my my nerdiness from the holidays.
Well, that's cool. That sounds pretty good. Pretty win, if you will. If anybody else out there listening got anything cool for Christmas, want to share it with us, superhero related, let us know. I know a lot of people get a lot of movies for Christmas. I gave Mike the
how could I
gift
forget?
of digital Spider-Man Homecoming to add to his collection.
Yeah, I watched that on the plane on the way home, and it was just as pleasant watching it the second time on my iPad. So thank you very much for that, Chris.
Oh, well, you're very welcome. I know actually it's a lot of people consider it their favorite comic book movie, superhero movie of the year, which is weird because I don't, but maybe I just don't know. Maybe I need to revisit it again. So, but that's cool. That's good. If you guys have something, share it, tag us in it. But I think it's time to get into some news, Mike, because I want to save some time for our best worst at the end of the show.
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's jump into this in one of our probably most talked about review episodes this year. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. A lot of people have asked if our friendship has been strained because we didn't agree. No, definitely not. Mike can like and not like what he wants, and I believe he will feel the same about me. So if you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Great. Our news here is about to cross $1 billion at the box office.
Not surprising.
Not surprising at all. It's been a good year for Disney overall.
Yeah.
And I don't think it will make quite as much as The Force Awakens. I think it'll cap out about probably 1.6, and the other one I think made 2.1. So no surprise there. But we did talk about this Wednesday, is that theaters have to help stupid people watch movies now, because AMC theaters have put up signs saying there is a 10-second moment of silence in the movie at like 1 hour and 52 minutes in, and that it is a creative choice in the movie, and the sound is not broken. So without trying not to spoil this moment, I think we would agree without saying anything that it is our favorite moment in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Why do people need handheld? Be like, no, the sound's not broken.
Yeah, all it takes is just one person to just ruin it for everybody. But I'm just glad the warning is very vague. I think it says maybe about like an hour into the movie, this is where the moment shows up. But I think honestly by this time you really got to go see this movie so you don't get spoiled. So
yeah, and yes, it is quiet for a reason. And if you don't know that, you should just leave. You should just leave right now. So that's good for Star Wars. Normally we go through footage beforehand, Mike, and I forgot to tell you about this footage here. Some people called FXitinPost have a fan-made fight of Obi-Wan and Darth Vader from A New Hope, like updated to the more modern lightsaber styles we've seen. Mm-hmm. And you're probably going to watch it in the background there a little bit. It's just a teaser of what's to come. The full thing's coming out later, so it's 46 seconds. And it is really cool to see like the amount of energy and like recreation they've done into this, to have the Alec Guinness Obi-Wan and the classic Darth Vader update their fighting styles. For
I was just checking it out here. It looks really cool. Just kind of goes to show you what could have happened if that was filmed, just in current time. I think sometimes the old fight scene is explained in a way where you say, oh, well, Vader is basically like a broken down human barely being kept alive inside of a suit, and Obi-Wan is just an old man, so it's going to be a slow fight. Some people say that, like, oh, well, they're just basically two, like, Jedi masters at their peak. They don't need to do all of these theatrics to try to kill each other. It's almost just kind of like, you make a move, I make a move. You make a move, I make a move, like, and we just keep matching each other. They're just not like wasting any moments. But I think honestly, the real answer was that movie was made back in 1978.
It came out in 1977.
Yeah, so it's just there wasn't just a whole lot of theatrics going on at that point in time. They didn't imagine all the things anyone could do with a lightsaber. So I think it's cool to see what it could have been. So.
Yeah, this is very cool. I don't like a lot of fan-made stuff, but like the first moment you see Vader swinging at this Alec Guinness and like the blade goes through the side of the Death Star is much cooler than just tapping sticks, kind of thing. Because at the time, like you're right, in the 70s, mid-70s, they had a rotoscope every frame, draw the lightsaber on everything. And now, you buy a laptop at the, your Best Buy, it can pull off these effects right out of the box.
Yeah, you just motion track a couple points and you just go. I wonder, a lot of the times when these big budget movies are made with tons of special effects, even though, yes, Lucasfilm or ILM are doing the special effects, sometimes if they get really busy, they'll take sections and they'll send it to other VFX houses to do like, oh, you do this little part, you do this little part. I wonder if maybe this is FX in its like little fan thing to go like, hey, the next time you make a Star Wars movie and you need a little help, send it our way. We obviously can do it.
Yeah, totally. And the way it works is I don't agree with the prequel ways like they treated the Jedi. Like everybody flips around and does backflips and lightsaber acrobatics. So I think this is a good compromise. So if you guys want to check out the short, I would definitely want to be seeing the full scene later. Hopefully Disney doesn't shut it down because it's getting a lot of views. But I definitely want to see this come out later and what it looks like. So
I bet if Disney does shut it down, it would probably be specifically because there is an Obi-Wan movie coming out and they just don't want it to conflict, and maybe there'll even be a shot in the Obi-Wan movie where he is old again and maybe they do some sort of weird CG with his face. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't tell you at this point, but they definitely make Alec, the character, the Obi-Wan, it's CGI'd Alec Guinness's face on somebody. So they're definitely not just saying, hey, I'm some guy playing Alec Guinness. Like, they CGI'd it on there. So you can totally see that being a problem. But the next Star Wars thing we get to see officially is the Solo, a Star Wars story movie about Han Solo, of course. And as of right now, the latest news is John Williams will write the theme song for the Solo movie. I don't think he did it for Rogue One, so this is interesting that he's gonna come back and just do the theme song for Han Solo.
Yeah, well, it would be kind of curious to see what he whips up. I mean, the theme song for Indiana Jones, aka another Harrison Ford movie, would be kind of cool. So maybe it's like he's gonna kind of think, what would a younger Harrison Ford do? I don't know. It's kind of weird. I wish I knew. I don't remember the age of Harrison Ford when he was in Star Wars compared to the age of. What is this? What's the kid's name that's playing Harrison
Alden
Ford?
Ehrenreich?
Yeah, that's what it was. I thought it was like Eldritch or something like that, but I don't know. Maybe he'll try to channel that oh God, Harrison Ford.
Yeah. So there is one song called Han Solo and the Princess from The Empire Strikes Back, and it's the love theme kind of thing in the movie. And I don't think that would be very appropriate for a young Han Solo, kind of like what you're saying here. So they're going to have to kind of create a new one, if they will, to do that.
Did you see that kind of fake promotional images that were floating around a couple days ago on Twitter for this movie?
I did. I had that in our notes until they were like, no, it's fake. So
the only thing that makes me curious about it was obviously it was done very, very well. I would have to say that they did a good job kind of rendering the faces of the actors and kind of fitting them all in there. But I think the most curious thing about those fakes was kind of what they did to the Millennium Falcon. It was kind of slightly redesigned. There was like some fresh kind of blue panels put around it. And I thought that was an interesting thing to just kind of add out of the blue. I would almost think if you were doing it like a fake, you would just make it look like the normal Millennium Falcon.
Well, that's actually the Millennium Falcon as seen in Revenge of the Sith. That's its original colors before we get it in A New Hope.
Oh, I guess maybe once it gets once the footage gets remastered, that blue pops a lot more. I don't remember all that blue on the old Falcon.
Yeah, it's not in the old. It's not in the old stuff. It's not in 4, 5, or 6. It's only in Revenge of the Sith that you see the blue, like the prequels.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So that's definitely I mean, that's a good catch on your behalf, but it shows you how much they didn't want you to notice it in the the prequels. So yeah, totally. I mean, I don't know we don't know what it's gonna look like in there, or maybe even how big of a importance it will play in it. So I'm interested in this, but cautiously interesting, because we also have some more news here that Disney is bracing themselves for the Han Solo movie to bomb.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is a rumor that they're worried about it before The Last Jedi, has caused very polarizing opinions. But now they're essentially just writing it off because the main actor, Alden Ehrenreich, can't act.
Oh, no.
And this is all rumor because I've seen him and stuff, and he can act just fine, but maybe he can't be the
charismatic lead that we need.
Yeah, he can't be the young Harrison Ford.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a rumor that's going to be a car crash. So I don't know. I'm curious about the Han Solo movie.
I mean, it would not be good for. I mean, of course Disney can survive it because it's Disney and it's Star Wars. But that's going to be if it is bad, that's going to be a bad taste that's left in our mouth for a lot longer than Star Wars usually is. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Episode 9 is supposed to be in the winter, right?
Yes, a year and a half plus.
Yeah, so usually we're waiting about 12 months, so they're going to have to wait a little bit longer for their next Star Wars movie, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the franchise, but I think, I wonder if the rumors, like you said, they could be true, they could be false, but it would be easy to explain them being false. It would be like, well, lots of stuff has been swirling this movie since the very beginning, so of course somebody out there could be saying like, oh yeah, it's going to be a bomb, Lord Miller would have made such a better movie, it's going to be a bomb, so we'll just have to wait and see.
They're definitely not saying they're making a better movie by a long shot. But, I mean, we heard the same thing about Wonder Woman several months before it came out, and that came out just fine. So I'm not too worried. I'm just curious because we have nothing on it because everything's been Last Jedi, Last Jedi, Last Jedi. So now as we enter the new year and Last Jedi will be exiting theaters in masses, this stuff may pop out a little bit more. So I'm gonna keep my ear to the ground and see what I can hear. Mm-hmm. So and also some story plot points here that I jumped over. Han Solo was a young gifted pilot at the Imperial Academy of Carida, and he was kicked out for rescuing Chewbacca.
Oh, Chewbacca. He's always causing trouble.
So some variation on this might be in the movie. So we'll definitely have to, like I said, curiosity is peaked for Solo. So I'm gonna keep my eyes and ears to the ground on this one. But in the meantime, much closer, we actually have Black Panther in like a month and a half. Like, can you believe that? Like, we are that close to our Black Panther movie.
Bring it on.
And we've got some new images here. Our first one is a big cover of Empire with the new vibranium-infused suit, it looks like. Why does it glow bluish purple? We don't know yet.
Probably when some magic shit is happening, man.
Yeah, my assumption is that it might absorb like blows and he can like redirect it back out, maybe. Because we've kind of seen a little bit with maybe Claw's hand a little bit. We also get another look at another suit from Empire magazine. It looks kind of the same. Like they all look the same unless you get up close. But like the vibranium infused one is all one solid piece, whereas the first one is very much like a Civil War outfit.
Yeah, I think there's going to be at some point in the movie we're gonna see the Black Panther at the beginning of the film, and it's kind of his classic Panther outfit that we've seen in the previous movies. It'll probably be updated and tweaked a little bit because every outfit kind of gets tweaked slightly from movie to movie just to kind of freshen it up. But I think somewhere in the film his suit is either going to need to be upgraded, or maybe one of the Infinity Stones will attach to it and morph it slightly. But we've also seen a second suit out there too, and they'll be battling each other. So I think what his sister is like the lead of tech in Wakanda. I think is what it was. So she could be like Tony Starking it up and just like whipping out suits all the time. Who knows? These suits could be a dime a dozen. We don't know.
And that's kind of exactly you're saying exactly what I was saying. I'm like, oh, this feels a lot like Iron Man, but in Africa kind of thing. Like he's a man of very nice suits, if you will. So I'm excited to kind of see where they all play out and how their differences, shape up a little bit, and go from there. Another photo we got from Empire is seeing Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger and Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa here, kind of face to face. I like the outfits and the costume design in this movie quite a bit. And I think this is one of those situations where we get to see Killmonger's like armored vest and stuff where he looks, like, hey, I want to cause some trouble a little bit. So
yeah, I like it because this movie's going to have a very unique look that's not necessarily going to have to be over explained, because a lot of times with like costumes and just things that are kind of pulled off of a page of a comic book, you got to go out of your way to explain like, well, why does this person look so bizarre and strange, like running down like the streets of New York? But like Wakanda is just kind of like this hidden nation that has its own culture and everything. So if you want to throw some buckles and straps on a person or put some sort of weird like animal mask on them, it doesn't really matter, because it just fits in the kind of the area and the tone that they're setting this movie up in. So I'm totally looking forward to just kind of being transported to Wakanda and just looking at all the cool shit that's there,
Yeah, exactly. And it's got that I think the phrase is Afrofuturism, where it's like taking African history and culture and mixing it with the technology of the future. So seeing that blend together is going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
So, and that makes it, on a poll of, I think this week came out, Black Panther is the second most anticipated movie of next year.
Ooh.
Which thinks it actually is tracking to beat Justice League opening weekend. So if you compare Justice League to Black Panther would come out on top opening weekend numbers.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a Marvel superhero movie would beat Justice League.
Yeah, and especially an origin film. I think a lot of people saw him in Civil War and like want to see more.
Hell yeah, because he's badass. Because
he was so good. He was like one of the best character introductions in that movie. So I agree. The first movie that is most anticipated for next year is actually Infinity War, of course. Yeah. I think that anyone who says different is lying. And we've got some new images. Our first official kind of still from the movie here is showing the Guardians meeting an Avenger for the first time.
Yeah, Mantis is feeling up on Thor's head.
Yep, with Rocket looking very confused. Which the fact they make him look so good and so real in all these movies is just a testament to the Rocket Raccoon as a character.
Yeah, and thanks to Guardians Volume 2 being on Netflix, I actually have rewatched quite a few superhero movies at the end of this year, which is usually something I don't do. I just don't get around to watching them again. But I did rewatch Guardians Volume 2, and man, yeah, I love Rocket. He's easily my favorite Guardian by like a mile.
Yeah. So this scene is actually one of the leaked this image is taken from one of those leaked scenes from San Diego Comic-Con.
Okay.
So, because I think she does her thing where she says, wake up, on Thor, and he wakes up. So, that's interesting to see, at least something we've not seen in the trailer so far in the public-facing world. So, that's pretty cool. Russian Calendar for 2018 is starting to promote some of the concept art / artsy styles of the characters coming up. Like, we get to see... I guess it's not teenage Groot. It's like I don't know how. We'll call him teenage Groot here. Rocket, Star-Lord, Gamora from Guardians, Doctor Strange, Thor, Iron Man, Black Widow, Captain America, and Spider-Man. And simply because we've seen the Avengers Infinity War trailer, Thor does not have an eye patch in on this.
Yeah, I wonder if that's intentional, because they didn't want to spoil that movie, but that doesn't make any sense because it's been out for a while and the trailer has. But who knows, whenever they commission this art, it could have been maybe pre-spoilers. I wouldn't be surprised maybe if somehow Thor does get his eye back, but also I think he just kind of looks badass with one eye, so I'd be fine with just leaving the eye patch on him until indefinitely, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's definitely good points on both sides of the argument. And that's, yeah, I don't know, we're just gonna have to see more. But it's cool to see all these characters, like, you know, come together finally on like one piece of paper here. And then another promo art here is featuring multiple characters. I think this is like a standee, kind of using similar artwork to the poster or the calendar here. So we get to see this one includes the Hulk, Vision, and Black Panther with some of the characters. Can you believe we're just like 5 months away from this? Like, I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's really crazy. It snuck up on us for sure. Like, I felt like when we got that first trailer not long ago, it almost felt like we were getting like a treat. Like, here you go, the movie's not even out yet, and you get to see a little bit of it, which is basically what a trailer is. But now that like we're about to turn over the dial and it's about to click into 2018. Yeah, we're really not that far away from this film.
I think 4 full months after next week. Not 5 months. It's in the 5th month, but we're 4 full months away. So I expect a Super Bowl trailer. I'm banking on Super Bowl trailer for this one, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, why else would you watch the Super Bowl if not for an Avengers trailer?
Exactly. That's the whole reason. You eat your Doritos and you watch some Marvel trailers.
Get your Taco Bell, and you may or may not get Papa John's, maybe Domino's. I don't know.
Yeah, you can get whatever you want. Wings, celery, ranch. Get whatever dipping sauce you want with those wings.
Ooh, you get that blue cheese or you don't get nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing at all. Well, actually, I don't want blue cheese. I'm sorry. I get nothing then. I'm going hungry. In terms of all this, seeing all these characters together has made me reminisce of a favorite video game series of mine, Mike. Ultimate Alliance from Marvel. Everyone loves Ultimate. Have you ever played Ultimate Alliance?
Yeah, I played it a little bit.
It's a very good game. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, it's just kind of like what would you say, like a top-down beat 'em up?
Top-down kind of beat 'em up. You have powers, but there's like every character you can almost choose from in the Marvel universe. At least in the first one, before they decided no X-Men or Fantastic Four. But apparently this week, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office received an extension to the name of the Ultimate Alliance video game series, which makes me think this upcoming Square Enix video game could be a new Ultimate Alliance, if you will.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like if you keep making these games, you'll keep selling them.
Yeah, I mean, I think, when was the last? Ultimate Alliance 2 was maybe 2007 or 2008. So it's interesting, you know, Square Enix is making, when they have like it's a third person cover shooter kind of thing, 2009 cover shooter thing, but like I think they could take the name and like they don't have to make it Ultimate Alliance 3, they just say Ultimate Alliance and it's a new version on a new console generation. So I don't know, I'm very excited to see kind of what comes out of this. Square Enix is great, they do fantastic fantastic games. I think they've done the Tomb Raider games, and they of course do Final Fantasy. So I'm excited to see where they take the Marvel property this year.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, knock on wood. If it's hopefully it's an Infinity War kind of thing with everybody in it. Ooh, exciting. Another Super Bowl trailer I think we might get is an Ant-Man and the Wasp preview, Mike. That's what I'm thinking of.
All right.
Do this. And the director has given us some character breakdowns here. And it's probably like a nice thick chunk of our news here. And so I'm going to give you some spots where Ant-Man and Wasp will have the characters here. And it does bring up some interesting points. So Scott Lang, who of course plays Ant-Man, after the events of Civil War is like, what is Hank Pym and Hope's reaction to Scott having brought the Ant-Man technology out into the world? Because after thinking about, like, a lot of people didn't know about the shrinking and growing things in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? It's very tied to Ant-Man. So we get to see some size and scale with that. Hank Pym is probably going to be a lot of reaction to how this technology is now out in the world. So his creation is out there and how people may be looking at it. But he's also obsessed with going to the quantum realm where Scott went, I believe, at the end of Ant-Man 1. And find his wife, Janet Van Dyne, who is a very important character and has spent 30-something years in this quantum realm and survived because we've seen the actress playing her, of course. What does it have? He says she eats a cereal called Quantum Krispies, which I think is a joke. Shoving that in there is a joke. And lastly, Hope Van Dyne is coming out party as a hero. Her power set is fantastic, and she has flying, and her fighting style is different than Ant-Man's. So I'm excited to see the Wasp do her own thing on the screen.
Yeah, I want to see him kick butt. Looking forward to seeing Hank Pym just being like a grumpy old man, saying like, "How dare you go fight?" Ant-Man was fighting against Tony.
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe he'll actually be okay with that. He'll be like, "Oh, I'm really mad that you went out and you took this technology and used it out in the world, but I am happy that you did throw a couple punches at a Stark, so I think I'm okay with that."
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. I mean, we're gonna have to see where the creation of the growth serum kind of came from as well, because Scott had a new suit and he'd been working with it a little bit. So I'm very excited to see what their thoughts of Civil War are and where all this new technology is and what they're working on. So. I'm excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think it's going to be a great filler movie in between the Infinity War, too. So, really, really excited for that. I know this is probably your least favorite topic, usually. I might try to make it into a joke now, but I'm not. But there's at least a Season 2 photo from Iron Fist Season 2. So, Iron Fist Season 2 is filming, right. They've got a bunch of new people in charge of it. I'm pretty sure they fired almost everybody in charge of the last one.
Oh, God, I hope so.
And I believe at the end of the Defenders, they at least tried to make him be somebody different. So we're going to knock on wood. So we get our first look at, I don't even know their names. That's how not invested in this show I was.
Was it Finn Jones and Colleen Wing is the character's name?
Colleen Wing, yeah, I don't know. So I don't either. They were both in Game of Thrones. So they got that going for them. But yeah, so there's the first photos. They're working on Season 2. I think Netflix is trying to shove a lot of these into production really quickly, just in case bad things happen on that Disney streaming service front. I mean, I don't know how it's going to work, but I mean, they've got Punisher Season 2 in the works now, Mike. You weren't here for that announcement. But I don't know. We're going to have to see what goes on. With that, Jessica Jones is up in March 3rd. We actually only have 2 full months until Jessica Jones, Mike. Can you believe that?
Well, that's going to be good because we're going to be on a little bit of a dry spell here for a while, Chris. So we're going to need something coming along.
I don't. What's the dry spell? I guess. I mean, I can think of almost something every month this year. 2018, the year of the everything.
Well, nothing's happening in January.
Okay. Well, yeah. We just get hyped for everything else. So that brings us to an interesting Marvel character here called Dakota North. Have you ever heard of Dakota North?
I've heard of North Dakota, but not Dakota North.
Dakota North is a character, believe it or not. Not the opposite of a state here. And this character is potentially the female-focused Jessica Jones-esque series in development ABC we've been told about.
All right.
Dakota North was a private eye investigator in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She had like a 5-issue series. And right now, there are trades of this series, which I had no idea even existed. This character never made on my radar, are coming back in stores to order, which is really, really weird. Like, unless something is happening with that property, because some other people who do like the numbers on like when things are ordered and when they're released have shown, usually these trades are back in order when movies and shows are debuting or upcoming.
Well, she definitely doesn't sound like a standalone character just because nobody knows who she is. And like you said, her background is very similar to Jessica Jones, so it just kind of seems like a repeat. Maybe it seems like a foil to Jessica, maybe in her season, possibly. We haven't really heard any sort of rumor of a villain quite yet, so maybe she could just be a little bit of a foil. Or maybe she's going to show up in maybe the New Warriors. Maybe she could fit in, like slide into a team pretty well to be kind of like a Jessica Jones insert. But yeah, it's weird to think like, oh, this fall on ABC, watch Dakota North, a Marvel superhero you've never heard of that's kind of like Jessica Jones. And odds are it probably won't be as good as Jessica Jones.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, if it is its own show, like they've done that with a lot of the S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of did that with a lot of the characters, like the Secret Warriors that had nothing going on that nobody knew about being able to bring it in. But yeah, I mean, it's very, very weird. Everything about this is weird. I'm on your side. I believe that she's part of Jessica Jones. Season 2 is like, oh, there's another investigative company by some, mildly attractive woman who can fight and handle herself. So I think it's going to be like another competing agency in Jessica Jones Season 2. That's what I think. But, we don't know. If it's ordering now, it'll come out in March when the show comes out. She also has some ties to Black Panther and the characters in there, the Dora Milaje. So I don't know. She's got ties to Daredevil, and Luke Cage. So I'm feeling heavy into the Netflix series. So I agree with you. I think that's a good call.
It's always good when you agree with me, Chris.
Of course. Blade might be getting something this year, Mike. Are you surprised about this?
Blade. I think I was talking about Blade with somebody over the holidays, and I just want Wesley Snipes to come back as Blade. I don't care if he's a little bit older or if it's just kind of like a weird, franchise to kind of reinvigorate, but like just bring him back in. Just like he's always been there fighting vampires. He's been kicking it.
Well, you sound exactly like Wesley Snipes, who said his favorite casting role to play Blade in a reboot would be himself. But one of the hosts of Marvel's Thwip and like a big Marvel promoter marketing person, Lorraine Sink, put a tweet out that she's since deleted. Says she got a chance to meet Deke from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Can't wait to show you the things we're cooking up in 2018. # Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. # Blade.
Oh, that is, and it's a deleted tweet too. But that's the thing. A deleted tweet makes sense because, like, oh, you put it out there, but like that's like a hashtag. Like you put it right there. It's so obvious. It makes me think like maybe they thought they were allowed to say something, and then like, oh shit, no.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's a TV show or a reboot of the character. I think they did a great job with Ghost Rider and S.H.I.E.L.D. that Blade will be a part of maybe later in the season.
Maybe. It's kind of weird to imagine Blade popping up the way the season is. Maybe if this season kind of is broken up into 2 parts, which is usually what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. does.
Three parts. They do 3 parts.
Yeah, so maybe they'll kind of... like, I don't want to spoil anything with, like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. if you're not caught up, but it's very kind of cosmic right now. So maybe if it gets kind of back to a normal terrestrial... Earth, maybe that's when we'll see Blade pop back up.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what the show has in store for the season, which might be its last season, but they were very much talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters from there, and to tag Blade into that, I think Blade would be part of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that tweet was very S.H.I.E.L.D. based. So I think that's an accidental leak there, and we're gonna see Blade this year, Mike. You think we will?
Deleted tweets are always very telling, Chris.
That's right. And again, I think you can edit tweets, can't you?
Nope.
No, you can't.
It's almost 2018. You still can't edit tweets.
Okay, well that's good then. So, yeah, there you go. On the news of other things, I don't know how to tie in this. Venom has some news, Mike. We've got some Venom news. Riz Ahmed is apparently going to play Dr. Carlton Drake, leader of the Life Foundation, who's a doctor who creates the children of Venom, like the phage and like the 5 little children that you probably fight in was not Maximum Carnage, but the other one, Separation Anxiety.
Oh yeah.
He's not playing Venom unless Venom takes over his body instead of Cletus Cassidy, the regular person.
Mm-hmm.
So, Riz Ahmed will not be playing the villain as of right now, but that could change and they could tweak it and really fuck it up real good. So,
yeah, we saw this guy recently in Rogue One, didn't we?
He was in Rogue One. I don't know if that's recently, but yes, he was in Rogue One. A lot of people said he's going to be Carnage, but I don't think he will be. I think they'll look at somebody else. Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald, I think is what it's called, maybe.
Yep.
Fantastic Beasts 2. We talked a little about this Wednesday. Your wife was very excited. She very much liked being on the Harry Potter podcast we had for the first one. So we got some new images officially from Warner Brothers. The first one we get to see the character Grindelwald and his accomplice Rosier. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Sure, Chris. I'm not going to be the one that corrects you here.
We haven't seen it yet. This movie is not out. So I'm on the side that Johnny Depp looks way too weird to be this character, but what do I know? I'm not the Harry Potter
We're just
person.
muggles, Chris. We're just muggles.
Yeah, we're just along for the ride. And then the second picture that came out is a photo of a young Albus Dumbledore and what I believe to be the Sherlock nemesis in the background there.
Where's his beard, man?
Whose beard?
Where's Dumbledore's beard? I understand that he's younger, but I feel like you should just perpetually be rocking a beard.
I think he's got to be hip and cool with it. Like, oh yeah, he's going to grow this out in like 60 years, and we'll get to see the full beard.
All right, whatever.
You just gotta go with this for a minute, okay? Just gotta go with it for a little bit. So we get to see that there. I forget the actor's name, but he was the villain in Sherlock, right? That's who that is.
I mean, I'm trying to tell because he's slightly out of focus in the background, but yeah, it does look just like him.
Okay, I can't even think of that character's name in that show.
Moriarty. That's
Moriarty. There it is. There we are. Moriarty from Sherlock. So there's some photos. These are officially from Warner Brothers and the Harry Potter stuff. So that's cool to take a look at it. It's coming out. I'm more excited for this one than I was the first one, I guess.
Yeah, we actually just rewatched Fantastic Beasts last night because I think it's streaming. Well, not I think. I know it is. It's streaming on the HBO services. And since the last time I watched it, I fell asleep during it because of jet lag. So it was nice kind of being able to see it while I'm not asleep.
You know why it's streaming on HBO right now?
Because aren't they about to get all of the Harry Potter movies on that?
As of January 1st, they get all the Harry Potter movies. Harry Potter's been on our TV nonstop on Freeform.
Which is kind of funny because that's probably why. I bet ABC Freeform is about to lose their airing rights.
They are. Yep.
So they're like, just play it all.
Yep, they're going from that to HBO, and you can stream them as of the 1st if you have any HBO subscription. So we own them on Blu-ray, and my wife was like, "Oh no, it's going to HBO." I'm like, "We have both HBO, Freeform, and the Blu-rays. Like this is not a problem for anybody."
Yeah, but the Blu-rays take physical work, Chris. We all know that.
Yeah, I know.
You gotta get up. You gotta find the disc. You gotta turn on your player.
We only got one TV in the house with a Blu-ray player.
It's a lot of work, man.
Hashtag first world problems all around. The TV show that we're not going to watch, Krypton, has a release date of March 21st this year.
Who cares?
And then we have another image from it. And just look how bad this is, Mike. I just want you to take a look at this old, overweight-looking dude in like a Superman costume. He looks like a cosplayer here.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like live fan art. It feels like in real life fan art. I don't like it at all. And also these supposed like bad guys in the back, they just feel like they have like that motorcycle armor on that TV sci-fi budget. They're like, oh, just put like a helmet on them, throw some LEDs there, and what do we do over their chests? Like, go buy some motorcycle armor. That's what everybody does in TV for superhero stuff.
Yeah, and remember when the Superman S used to be cool looking? And now, like, everybody has it on in this image. So I'm like, it's not cool anymore, guys.
Well, yeah, because Superman's not actually going to be in the show, so they need to constantly remind you why you're watching this. Like, oh, just hold tight. Maybe you might see a glimpse of an infant that might be Superman in our series finale.
Yeah, wink. Well, I doubt it. If it makes it to a series finale. But yeah, it's like it might take some sort of Superman turn to the camera and wink to fix this situation.
Good luck, Krypton. Good luck.
Yeah, Godspeed with you, buddy. Aquaman has some stuff, a new image here. I think this is another sequence shot of the one we looked at a couple weeks ago, because he appears to be in a submarine fighting someone in a black suit. It kind of looks like Deathstroke from a little bit over the shoulder, but it's not, because it's a purely black suit, and Deathstroke doesn't usually fight Aquaman. So, what do you think about his little chain there on his belt with the little clippies?
I was just looking like that. I guess if you want to be a proper Jason Momoa Aquaman, there's a few steps you got to take. First of all, you got to grow your hair out. Step 2, make sure you got some facial hair. Obviously, step 3, you got to be ripped. I think the tattoos could possibly be optional. I think I could still assume that you're an Aquaman with or without tattoos. But the most crucial step to looking like Aquaman is just making sure your belt buckle is off center. That is the crucial. That is a crucial Aquaman step.
It is true. I mean, now that I think about it, I can remember times I've sat down and like, oh, my belt buckle, it hurts being in the middle. Now I know why he needs to move it to the side. Yeah, he's
a Renaissance man, just hanging out. It looks like he's probably in a submarine or like an aircraft carrier down below decks. I think I've said this before. I'm just looking forward to seeing what's the bad guy's name with the big helmet?
Black Manta.
Yeah, the Black Manta. I want to see how they're going to adapt him to screen, because he always looks badass in the comic books or in animated shows or movies. So I just want to see him adapted to screen. Those like big old beady eyes, I think those could be really kind of terrifying.
Well, I actually think this is a version of Black Manta here that he's fighting because of the all black outfit. Or a nameless mercenary. I don't know. I'm just thinking he's wearing leather gauntlets underwater. Probably not good for him. Probably not good to have underwater gauntlets.
Maybe it's from like a sea cow.
Yeah, a manatee gauntlet.
Yeah, I mean it'd be good for underwater leather, man. It's something that us humans don't have to worry about.
Well, there's a lot in this episode I don't know or worry about this week. So, all right, Aquaman. Looking forward to that movie. We'll talk about that later. Justice League box art. We don't have the image. It suggests there is no extended cut at the initial release. Mike, thank God.
Oh, geez, yeah. I don't know what an extended cut would end up being, because I feel like people would just saying, "Oh, is this more Snyder? Or is this more Whedon?" I've seen some people online start throwing up what they think is like Whedon's portions and what Snyder's portions were, and I don't think it's necessarily going to be so black and white. I don't think I think it's going to be pretty flowing and moving around. I don't think you're going to be able to definitively say what was Snyder and what was Whedon.
I don't think we're going to get a cut for either director. I don't think there will be a director's cut, but I can definitely see an extended edition where they tweak some things, finish out some scenes they cut to get it under that 2-hour mark. Because all the trailers had Cyborg playing football, and we saw none of the football scenes.
Yeah, I think we need the Cyborg cut. That's what we need. The one character that I feel like we didn't get to know enough about, and a lot of the movie really hinged on him.
Yeah, he was probably more crucial than most people in this movie. So I agree. I think there's going to be an extended cut, but it's not going to be tied to either director. It's just going to fill in those blank scenes that were removed. So that's my suggestion. The theatrical run of this movie is about to leave, and it may end up making less money in theaters than Man of Steel did. So that's
make a better movie.
Yeah, make a better movie, and I don't know, just cut it out. Damn it!
It's so simple. Just make a better movie.
Yeah, or just don't make one at all. I mean, Wonder Woman did great. You can't go from Wonder Woman to this.
I mean, it's so simple. All you have to do is just lay out all of these DCEU movies. Look at the ones that made a lot of money and look at the quality of them. It's so simple.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't even know, man. I can't even look past it. But something we got with Justice League is an ending. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys now because I don't care. Deathstroke was in the movie. But the producer of Arrow has now said Deathstroke is once again off limits in the Arrow universe.
Greg Berlanti, he can't catch a break. He's like, we get Deathstroke, and then we get him back, and then we kill him off, but then we can get him back, and then, Arrow's not very good anyway, but so let's try to bring him back to save it. We can't have him now?
Yeah, so once upon a time, Deathstroke was in the show, then they removed him because he was off limits, and we saw that footage from Batman v Superman that never made it in there. And then he was back on limits, and now after Justice League, he's back off limits. So I assume they're going to make a movie with him like they said they were.
Yeah. It probably doesn't help that Deathstroke has a very iconic look to him. I know his, like, everything neck and below is just basically tactical armor, but that half-colored mask, it's really hard not to know that that's Deathstroke when you look at it. So I could see, like, oh, maybe the CW is doing some sort of commercial or promo for the next episode of Arrow, and then they want to throw Deathstroke's face up in there, like, hey, this is going to be kind of confusing when we're promoting Deathstroke in his own movie or in a movie that he's in, and we want to show that mask. So I feel like maybe the compromise is just leave Deathstroke in your show, but just don't put the mask on him.
Look, I think they're going about it all wrong. You're making a Flash movie, but you also have a Flash show. Much more conflicting than Deathstroke being a side character of Arrow, and having maybe a side character of his own stuff. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot going on over there. I can't say anything bad. They employ your wife, I hear, so can't do anything about it. It's just rough. New Mutants is in April. That's, we get February, March, April for New Mutants, which is really cool that we don't have to wait forever. And we have a new image of the cast from the movie. Looking here, it looks like maybe Magic there on the left did something to Moonstar. I guess that's her name, Moonstar. So the other characters are all there.
I don't know. We got a lot of new character names to remember. That's for sure.
Yes, I'm gonna go through the one in the blonde on the left is Magic. She's the sister of Colossus. Mm-hmm. The girl from Game of Thrones there in the middle, that's Rain. She is Wolfsbane, turns into a werewolf. The girl who's passed out is Dani Moonstar, and she can control emotions. The guy from Stranger Things is Cannonball. He can fly like a cannonball, I guess, like a rocket-powered person. And then the other one is Sunspot there on the right. I think it's Roberto de Costa. He was
Roberto. I like that name.
Exactly. He was in the intro to Days of Future Past, where he's the one who turned all fire. Mm-hmm. If you remember that character, who was non-important to the plot. They just kind of killed him off. So, yeah. These are the New Mutants right there. Take a look at them. They're new. And they're mutants.
Take a look.
We got some new images of X-Men Dark Phoenix, and I did have someone compliment you on talking about how the Phoenix looked the other day. So we're going to go through some of this. A new photo looks like Magneto has been captured again.
Man, Magneto, Michael Fassbender, they're still keeping you around for these movies. I don't know if he just signed a contract for a little longer than he needed to, but I feel like he's kind of extended his run as Magneto through the quality of the movies.
I think this movie, Dark Phoenix, is a new contract extension for everybody who from the old trilogy, or I guess the middle trilogy. They're
all crossing their fingers, like, oh, maybe Disney will buy this contract out, and I won't have to do these movies anymore.
Well, I think it's one of those things you're gonna play Magneto, you're gonna pay me a lot of money, kind of thing.
Yeah,
because Magneto's a staple. Of this, so there we go. We get a look at him captured, and we get some more Phoenix Photoshop tutorials here, Mike. I gotta get your opinion on the second one of the Phoenix here.
All right, let's take a look here, and boo.
I like how the fire curves over her ear like it's hair. I find that very blendy. But whatever. What do you think, Mike? Here. Overall, same thought process.
Yeah, it just looks. I mean, actually, the photo itself, I don't know if this is it looks like it's scanned from like a magazine or something like that. It's not helping it either way, but yeah, it just kind of looks like, looking at it, this probably is not how the Phoenix is going to look in the movie. It's just some sort of weird promotional shot with like the skin cracking and stuff with flames underneath it. I don't know. It just looks like bullshit.
It definitely is. I mean, I'm going to lean to the thing and say that they're going to make her look like this in the movie when she manifests the Dark Phoenix part of her.
You know what? Fire power is just like the power of fire. It's just not that cool on screen anymore. Flame effects were kind of like one of the first, I feel, CG things that they worked on. I feel like they got it pretty solid very quickly in the life and history of computer effects in movies. And now we just fire just looks like normal now. So
this is even boring. Bad fire. You can see the holes where the hair is. It's not full, and it doesn't look like it's coming off of her very well. It's kind of floating, I guess. I don't know. I agree with you. It looks bad. It looks real bad. I don't know. Don't click the plus. It zoomed in. Mike. Get away from it. There is a movie studio out there called Allspark Pictures from Hasbro. making movies out of toys, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got some new release dates set for us. I'm probably not going to put on our upcoming release slate here because these sound awful. G.I. Joe for March of 2020.
All right, rebooting it, I guess.
We don't know. It could be a sequel, could be a reboot. I don't know. Micronauts. Are you familiar with the comic Micronauts?
The Micronauts, aren't they like Transformery things?
No, they're like, I think they're people kind of like Ant-Man. I think they shrink.
Oh, all right.
Like they're like a little bitty, like what I understand, they're like a little bitty toy line of like little bitty figures.
Little bitty figures, all right.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to pull up because it was a comic book owned by Marvel for a while. Well, never mind. These look like these are interesting, very Micro Man toys.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. It kind of seems to be, geez, I don't even know. It looks like there's a robot involved for sure.
This is the company Mego I'm looking at here. I need to find the Hasbro version.
Micronauts Hasbro. That's right, people. We're doing it live.
We're doing it here because I've talked about Micronauts because I've seen the comics because they did a crossover with X-Men called X-Men and the Micronauts. Mm-hmm. In like the 84. So they originate in the microverse, a microscopic universe full of strange planets like the human-inhabited homeworld, which is made up of spherical habitats in the fashion of a molecule chain.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. It's hard to say, when you talk about things with scale, usually you compare it to like a dinner fork or like a dog walking around, but it just kind of looks like robot aliens from the kind of stuff that I'm looking at. So, all right, Micronauts it is.
Yeah, so to me, this is the, when you go to the $5 movie bin and they're like, oh, this is your Ant-Man ripoff. Like, that's what it sounds like to me. They're like, oh, Ant-Man worked, we can make Micronauts work. So that's it. A Dungeons and Dragons movie has been slated for July 23rd, 2021.
Okay.
Apparently they have the rights to that movie. And an untitled Hasbro event film for October 2021.
Now that's what makes me wonder if somehow all three of these movies are going to come together in some sort of Avengers-esque tie-in, because honestly that's what Hollywood is doing right now. And why would you kind of dredge up all these characters maybe if you weren't going to do something with them? So I guess, G.I. Joe could be kind of like the human way into this. So we're going to relate to the characters on a human level with G.I. Joe. Then maybe at some point the G.I. Joes will cross with the Micronauts, which will kind of make some sense. The Micronauts are almost kind of like your futuristic G.I. Joes, and then your G.I. Joes are the present tense, but I do not understand how Dungeons and Dragons loops in with these other characters.
I don't think it will. I think G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Micronauts are the big three, and Dungeons and Dragons is just a sidearm to this franchise or this studio, if you will.
No, Chris. I'm gonna need to have these Dungeons and Dragons mixed into this if I'm gonna take it seriously.
They're gonna shrink so far they go into the D&D universe.
Let's do it. I don't know. A Dungeons and Dragons could be kind of interesting. I mean, it's finally cool, I would say, to like Dungeons and Dragons, thanks to like Stranger Things and just like other just nerdy stuff being cool. So I don't know. Maybe they could make a cool Dungeons and Dragons movie. Well, there was one at one point in time, I think.
There was a couple Dungeons and Dragons movies, and I wouldn't say they're very cool, but they made them. And I think that has a lot to say about fantasy being accepted as a form of science fiction, I guess, out there, fantasy fiction, and we've got some good stuff from like the Lord of the Rings movies being very, very popular. And I think that's going to TV. So we don't have a lot of fantasy going on. But Peter Jackson from those movies is going on to work on a movie called The Mortal Engines, which we talked about, I believe, in our Last Jedi episode.
Yeah, that's right, because Mortal Engines, the trailer for it premiered in front of Star Wars before it ever landed on the internet, which is very bizarre because that doesn't usually happen anymore. So when I was sitting in the theater and I see like kind of this like CG tree like show up in like a barren wasteland and there's a bird on, I'm like, what trailer is this? And all of a sudden it gets run over by a freaking castle on wheels. I'm like, what am I watching?
Yeah, so as I affectionately call it, cities on wheels eating other cities on wheels is what it looks like. Mm-hmm. Mortal Engines is a book. It actually came out in I think 2001, I believe, and it's the first of 4 novels in this quartet of books called The Mortal Engines. As soon as I told my wife about the trailer, she watched it, went and bought the first book for her students in her classroom and has read it already. It's not a big book. It's a
what. How did she feel about it? Did she like it?
Oh, she's like, this is a great suggestion. I'm glad you made me watch that.
Oh, cool.
So, and the idea of it is like that these cities are driving around on this Earth that is running out of resources, and that people think that these cities are gonna drive around forever, but in fact, the city's engines are indeed mortal. So, like, the cities can die, like if they stop running.
Interesting. Yeah, this trailer is like freaking crazy. So, and it's from Peter Jackson, and we were talking a little bit before we started recording the show that like when Peter Jackson can take an idea and run with it fully from beginning to end, usually it's pretty good. I mean, The Hobbit, I think there's a lot that went into that being bad, but I mean, come on, Lord of the Rings is awesome.
Lord of the Rings is great, and then Peter Jackson picked up The Hobbit from Guillermo del Toro, and they we have to CG everything to get this out on time. Which is bad to look at because I love the original movies and how physical everything is. But I didn't know this, but the Peter Jackson announced this movie actually in 2009,
and no one was paying attention apparently.
Yeah, and they've been working on it ever since. So but now it's here. We get to see a teaser. I'm excited to see where this goes. And mostly because Mike said it best. Like, how do you get a trailer out without the internet seeing it?
Yeah, that's super cool.
So,
super awesome.
Yeah, so now we're at that point where they did that, and they got us. They got us good right before Star Wars. Can't believe they did it. So that's our news for the week. Mike, I want to talk here in closing about the best and worst movies of the year.
That's right, because the year is quickly coming to a close, and we have seen movies outside of the movies we've talked about on the show. So outside of the comic book superhero universe, I think we've seen things that range on the scale of just like action to indie drama to Disney princess movies to kind of sci-fi stuff. So
to trilogy to series they just can't beat to death with a stick.
Yeah.
So I mean, all in all, Mike, I first, since this is a superhero movie, what was your favorite superhero movie of the year? I guess that's my first question. I know that's not on the list that we just typed up, but like, of the movies we saw this year, whether for the show or not for the show, what was your favorite superhero movie, you think?
Well, thanks to you for reminding me and giving me the digital code for it. I mean, I was pretty positive, but after rewatching Spider-Man Homecoming, I think that is my favorite superhero comic book movie of the year. Almost by a mile. I just had a great time with the movie. It's just crafted very, very well. We don't have to go through the mishigas, if you will, of the Spider-Man origin. It's already there. He's already a hero, but we kind of do get to see a little bit of an origin of him kind of learning how to be a hero. The whole like second half of the movie, he doesn't have his like super powered suit anymore, and he's just being kind of just a badass hero. And there's lots of really great humor. There's a lot of great Marvel humor in it without undercutting the tension, which is a problem that's kind of been a little prevalent, I think, in 2017. So I thought it guided it very, very well. Watching it the second time, I caught a lot of things I didn't catch the first time, and it's just a polite sensation on my eyes.
Okay, well that's good to hear.
Yeah, what about you, man?
I'm gonna have to actually go with Thor Ragnarok. I think Thor had a lot riding on it. The first one is good. The second one is probably like the Marvel movie I hate watching the most. And we've seen Thor come up in the Avengers movies, but like what was Thor gonna become in 2017? What were they gonna do with him? And they did something smart, I think, and buddied him up with the Hulk and took him out of Earth and went to the cosmos, and were like, here's Thor, and this is a comedy movie first and foremost, but it has some great action scenes throughout. I loved going and watching it again the second time in theaters. I just had such a great time with Thor Ragnarok, and I really look forward to it coming, the physical release coming out, so I can watch it more when I get it at home.
Yeah, I saw some of the, I think some of the VFX reel is out for Thor, so if you want to kind of see how some of those shots were done and composed, I think you can go out and search that on Google. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I look forward to it. I think it probably has my favorite Funko Pop line as well. You and your Pops, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, Korg, Surtur, Hela. The big gladiator Hulk I got. It's just so good. I really love the how they leaned into everything with it, and that's my favorite movie. I look forward to watching that.
Yeah, we just need to get Korg on a Porg.
Mm-hmm. If
just
you were
like that elf on a shelf.
Porg on a Korg.
There you go.
Let's go that way. What's your least favorite superhero movie we watched this year?
Least favorite. I mean, my mind does say Justice League, but I'm going to scan through here real quick. So I think Justice League is like the worst quality of a movie that we saw this year, and I think that's very easy to cross-reference with audience reaction and critics. But I think the biggest disappointment of the year for me, unfortunately, was Kingsman: The Golden Circle. I mean, I think you feel differently from what I remember in the spoiler cast when we talked about it. But I felt like I was kind of like let down. I was hoping for more, and I just kind of got more weird stuff than I wanted. But yeah, you can go back and listen to the spoiler cast. So I would say Justice League was the worst, but most disappointing was Golden Circle.
Okay, I'm gonna have to say. The worst for me, I'm going to lean into the TV shows. Iron Fist was just...
Oh, yeah. Well, if TV shows were on the plate, I would watch Justice League any day over Iron Fist.
Yeah, I mean, if we had to do movies, yeah, Justice League kind of looking at this. TV shows, Iron Fist for sure. But, my disappointment is probably in actually Logan, which I think a lot of people will disagree with me. I've not revisited that movie since it theaters. And I just find it too... I don't know. I just didn't like it. I don't care for it as much as everybody else does.
I would agree with you that, it's kind of, it doesn't really, there's not a whole lot bringing you back in to rewatch it. But I would say you could almost separate that opinion from how you felt about the movie in general, because I overwhelmingly like the movie, but yeah, I'm not necessarily rushing back to watch it just because when I left the movie, I was just like, oh man, that was powerful and amazing. The best Wolverine movie that'll probably ever be made. Hugh Jackman, wow, we really sent him off. Oh, what an emotional ending. But I'm just like, oh man, I don't know if I want to watch like Xavier die in a bed again from like a clone of Wolverine. That was so emotional. Then I have to watch Logan die again and get buried under rocks. And it's just like everybody's dying and it's sad and he's bleeding and coughing the whole movie. I'm like, oh god,
it's a draining film for sure. I just don't like it's the clone. You mentioned it's the clone Wolverine I don't like. I'm like, you could have picked anything else but Hugh Jackman as the hero and the villain of the movie, I guess.
Yeah, they could have thrown in like Omega Red or something.
Well, again, my favorite would have been if they got Sabretooth. They were like, oh, we're going to push Sabretooth to the next level and bring that back. It made it full circle. It just didn't feel like everything was about cloning Logan, I guess. I don't know. There's stuff when I sit and think about it, I just don't care for as much as everyone else does. Mm-hmm. So I think it's on a pedestal above everything else. So.
Well, I have a question for you. So besides what we just said were like the 1 and 2 most anticipated movies of next year, of Infinity War and Black Panther, I guess what are you looking forward to the most in TV and movies of 2018?
I say the biggest one for me, mostly because it has a lot of question marks still, is Deadpool 2.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking that also.
Deadpool 2's got a lot of question marks, but it has a lot of potential. Deadpool 1 was great. We haven't heard a lot about Deadpool 2. It's got Cable in it. They got Domino taking it to a new level. There's a lot, and they're just giving us a weird trailer so far of him pretending to be Bob Ross. So
yeah, I'm just curious if they can kind of capture that magic again in a sequel, because that first movie was so funny. It did a great job just kind of making fun of the tropes of a superhero movie, but like, can you keep doing that for another movie and another movie after that and another movie after that? Is that going to become old and stale? Or since superhero movies are just still at great heights, it just makes it easier and easier. But I think beyond that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is going to be a very interesting experiment, and I'm looking forward to see how that shakes out.
Which is great, because you were completely 180 on this before the trailer. When the trailer came out, you're like, oh, never mind. I've been fooled.
Yeah, that's what happens when you lose trust in a whole studio.
Yeah, yeah. So I think Deadpool 2 definitely for me, other than Infinity War being there, and maybe New Mutants. I think Fox has a couple. These are the Fox 2 of the 3 that I can be like, okay, I can maybe get behind these because they're different.
Yeah, they could surprise us.
But the least anticipated one for me more so than Venom, is Dark Phoenix.
Oh yeah, that I almost don't want to see the movie. I know we kind of have to for the podcast, but I almost don't want to see it.
Yeah, we'll probably have to figure out a way to see that one for cheap, so we don't.
Maybe they'll surprise me with a trailer. But we've actually talked about this a lot with X-Men trailers in the past. Like the very first Days of Future Past trailer, the very first X-Men Apocalypse trailer, they're not very good trailers. I mean, they're not bad, but they don't exactly hype you up. So hopefully maybe they can turn it around for Dark Phoenix and find a way to get us excited.
Yeah, we can definitely hope so. So I'm glad about that. I mean, I'm question marks above Venom. Sony's hiring a lot of good people, and it might come out okay. So hopefully my source on that movie might give me some insight sooner than later while they're filming it. So I guess that's for next year. Other than superhero movies, Mike, movies you saw in theater, probably a smaller list here that wasn't for this. Which one was your favorite movie that you saw in theater that's not a superhero movie?
My favorite movie that I saw in theaters that wasn't a superhero movie was probably The Big Sick, which I think if you're into superhero movies like we are, I think it's refreshing and almost responsible of you to go out and see something that's not that, just to get a feel for what else is out there, because we do get whipped up in a frenzy a lot about these blockbuster movies. So The Big Sick was just like this tiny little indie movie from Kumail Nanjiani, which you might know as one of the guys from Silicon Valley, and I think he wrote, and maybe I don't think he directed the movie, but I know he wrote it. So it's just really funny. He stars in it as well. So yeah, I would check out The Big Sick. I think it might be streaming on Amazon now, because I think it's an Amazon Studio film type situation. But yeah, I think Big Sick. I saw John Wick 2.
By The Big Sick, you can watch on Pornhub. He said Kumail Nanjiani saw, like, he tweeted like, "Oh, in case you want to watch it, it's on Pornhub." Pornhub was like, "Oh, we'll take it down. We're trying." He's like, "No, leave it."
That's hilarious. I love that. But yeah, I saw John Wick 2, Baby Driver, Beauty and the Beast, Geostorm. We all know I went and saw Geostorm, and surprisingly, Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, there you go, Connecticut.
Yes. So, of those, your best was Big Sick. What's your least favorite of those?
Man, least favorite, I don't know. I mean, like, I wasn't expecting much going into Ghost in a Shell, that's for sure. We all know how I felt about Geostorm. Baby Driver was just, I think, overrated.
Thank you.
It's the most overrated movie of the year. Overrated movie doesn't mean it's bad. I love Edgar Wright. I love his movies. But, like, for some reason, people got, like, whipped into a frothy frenzy over this movie for something that was just serviceable.
Yeah, it was okay. It's not going to change your world by watching Baby Driver.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay. So
but Chris, laid on it looks like you saw more than I did.
I did. I went to the movies quite a bit here, and I'm just going through and making sure. Other than that, I actually saw Power Rangers in theater. I got to see King Arthur for free. Mm-hmm. The 5th Pirates movie, The Mummy, the 5th Transformers movie, Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets, Blade Runner 2049, Coco, also Ghost in the Shell, Beauty and the Beast. And I think we watched Alien Covenant together, but I don't think it's on our superhero list, so it's on there. Of these, my favorite one is by far Blade Runner 2049. Yeah,
I've heard great things about that movie.
It is a slow movie, but it's a true... I think it's better than the original, by far. Coco is also very, very great to watch as well. I think it's a middling Pixar movie for me, but a middle Pixar movie is still miles ahead of anything else. So there's that. My least favorite is by far The Mummy, and believe it or not.
I believe it.
The Mummy was atrocious. It tried to set this franchise enough. It's so bad they've decided not to move forward with any of the other movies. And I kind of regret going to see that one. Second up to that, I'd have to agree Ghost in the Shell was just so boring. Like, it did nothing. So
yeah, just uninspired. They had amazing source material to pull from, but they just couldn't make it happen.
I don't remember watching Transformers 5. I must have blacked out a little bit. A movie I didn't see in theaters, but I saw much later, was Split.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like Split. If you haven't watched Split, it's really good.
Yeah, Split and Get Out are two big ones that are on my gotta see list. I just haven't gotten around to watching them yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm also looking at the movies in January. Resident Evil, the final chapter, Underworld Blood Wars, Triple X Return of Xander Cage. Like,
woo!
I feel at Monster Trucks, the movie about monster trucks. Like, I feel bad for January, so bad. So, yeah. Those are some of them. Any other movies you want us to talk about from this year, Mike, that you remember? Or?
Man, I think that's we got to wrap up 2017 because Chris, we got the final chapter of Maze Runner coming up in January 2018. Like you talked about those January movies. Whew.
Oh man, really? Where are you finding this at? I gotta find out where this next year's worth of movies are because I gotta see what's going on there. Is there any movie you didn't see that you wanted to see this year? How about that? Maybe that'll be the last question we have.
I mean, it's hard to say some of these Oscar movies because they're in limited release and you can't see them wide until 2018. But I really want to see Lady Bird. But like you said, Split came out and Get Out. Get Out's supposed to be an amazing film. It's streaming on HBO. I should just go watch it, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So I think that's the kind of last lingering Chad that I need to collect.
Mine is John Wick 2.
Oh yeah, you didn't see the John Wicker, did you?
I didn't see John Wick 2. We actually spent Christmas Day. My dad was watching movies, and John Wick, the first one, was on. So it was interesting to watch that. I'm like, okay, I guess I can get behind the second one again. So
hell yeah, Keanu Reeves shooting people in the face. Sign me up.
Sign you down for it? You down?
Down to clown, man. Down to clown.
All right. I'm looking at. I finally found the link of movies coming out in March, and it took me a while because I was on home video releases. I'm like, why are they there? Are you going to watch it when it comes out?
Well, yeah. I think I've said this on the show before, but I'm a big baby, so it takes me a while to get around to these scary movies. But yeah, I gotta see it because I hear there's some crazy shit happening in that movie. Gotta see Get Out. Gotta see Split. But they're all scary, man. So yeah. I gotta be brave.
Make sure your lights are on for it. So, all right, well there we go. That's our wrap up for the year, and a little forward to next year and all the stuff. If you guys saw any movies or want to tell us your favorite or least favorite movies of the year, do tag us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and let us know because I'm interested in what you liked or maybe did not like. Or how wrong I am that I don't think Logan is the best superhero movie.
Or how right I am that my opinion on Star Wars still holds strong.
Oh my god, you don't even start. Don't even get me started. Well, we're going to have to get off here because I'm not going to argue with that at the end of the year, Mike.
Well, I think we should talk about it a little bit next week because I had trouble falling asleep last week after we met up because it was like the middle of the night. For some bizarre reason, I'm awake and I'm just like thinking about Star Wars. Like, how can I convince Chris?
Well, you're gonna have to try really hard, but no, it's fun. It's fun. It's all fun. So, thank you guys for listening for another year. We start year 4 of Superhero Slate next week, and we hope you're here. Mike, if people want to know what you're up to, how you're gonna celebrate the new year, where can people find you at?
Well, you can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter and Instagram, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, people want to find out what you're up to, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Valdan, Valdan. I'll post stuff from my Instagram stuff on there. You can also head over to Comic UI. You can go listen to some old episodes of Film Side Chats or head to YouTube and search the DNN and see all the videos I put up there. If people are listening to Superhero Slate for the first time, Mike, and they want to know more about us, where can they find us at?
Well, as always, please visit superheroslate.com. That is the best place to find all the avenues that we host our little show here and to get our show notes. So we talked about that Mortal Engines trailer. There are some images for Fantastic Beast. If you desperately want to see that new promo photo for Iron Fist, I don't know why you'd want to, but you can head on over to superheroslate.com and check out our show notes for this show. And you can subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher. You can get us right in your email inbox every week, and you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to pick up some Superhero Slate merch, you can find that at superheroslate.com/store. And if you're a fan of the show, please consider leaving us a review wherever you listen to the show. I saw a couple of new reviews pop up for some of our movie review segments just recently, and I read those and I really appreciate that. So those are really awesome. We love you guys. And if you want to be a super fan of the show, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and apparently there's a third option now, which I didn't know will also make you a super fan, is sending me a Christmas card. Shout out to our super fan Jim, who reached out and got my address and sent us a nice little Christmas card of his family, so that was really appreciative. So he'll be getting one from us in the mail, so look out in your inbox. The physical inbox, the one that's at the end of your driveway, Jim. Hopefully that'll be there in a week or two.
He's going to leave you a surprise wink in your mailbox.
It's not anthrax. I swear it's not anthrax.
Yeah, no. But yeah, thank you. I also got one as well. Thank you, Jim, for the Christmas card. It was great. And also, we have new designs up on Superhero Slate on our /store for our shirts. So if you want to buy a review shirt with our review logo, go check it out up there and get those. I got a couple in. They look great on teal, red serviceable as well. So check those out.
Serviceable, that's what we like to hear, Chris.
Exactly. So, all right, well, I guess we'll catch you guys next week.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
See you next year.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
I laughed, you laughed, the toaster laughed, we shot the toaster.